you, Kiara, for making me cry before I got up here. But thank you not only for your kind words, but for being just about the most self-motivated, hard-working, determined student athlete I ever coached on the court and in the classroom. I am also very grateful that my life's legacy here at Westchester is in your very capable hands. I became a coach primarily due to 5 people. 3 are deceased and 2 are here today. My father, Tom Kane, was living proof that lack of sight does not equal lack of vision. He never confined me to traditional gender roles and encouraged me in all of my athletic pursuits. Bob Kenny is the late sports editor of the Camden Courier-Post. In the early 70s, Bob had the radical idea that female sports deserved as much recognition and as much coverage as male sports. A lot of fans of Bob in the crowd today. Through his efforts, I was flown home to New Jersey from Dayton, Ohio, to an awards banquet. At that awards banquet, I met Father William Brennan. And upon our first meeting, Father Brennan said to me, you should be a teacher and a coach, and I will hire you. So I did, and he did. And until Father Brennan said that to me, the thought had never even entered my mind. 3 great male allies pushed me down an unplanned, uncharted path. All 3 are gone now, Father Brennan, just last month. Although I did not realize my path, I happen to have 2 great role models as high school coaches. I graduated from Paul VI High School in 1972. Woo! By the way, 1972 was the same year Title IX was passed. Lucky me.
Yeah.
If you know anything about the history of women's sports in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, you will understand how fortunate I was. My field hockey coach went to Westchester, and my basketball coach went to Immaculata. How about that? And they were great mentors for me. How I needed mentoring. Besides being well ahead of their time in skill work, strategy, and conditioning, they both taught me how to win with class, lose with dignity, and have great respect for opponents. Believe it or not, they are both here today. And although they both know the depth of my love and gratitude, I would like to acknowledge them publicly, and I'm even going to make them stand up, even both of them look younger and move better than I do. Vicki Harrington Orzechowski and Kathy Ware McNeil. Thank you for both blazing the trail and reining me in. Norman, my path to Westchester was circuitous. Were it not for a chance encounter at a family reunion with then WCU Board of Trustee Norman Mulvey, that path might have hit a dead end. So thank you, Norman, for encouraging me and advocating for me. And thank you, Marietta, for marrying Norm and bringing him to that Kelly picnic in 1987. No one succeeds in coaching without great assistant coaches. From my first assistant coach at Camden Catholic, Chrissy Kitchen Palladino, and to my last assistant coach, Kiara Manlove Wooden, who introduced me, I believe mine were simply the best. However, there was one in between who rose above all the rest. Jim Stinger grew up a block and a half from me in South Philadelphia. Jim was a neighborhood superstar. I remember watching him play in the schoolyard directly across from our house. Jim played at Villanova, and he was a head coach on the guys' side and the women's side, yet somehow I landed him as an assistant coach at Westchester. He was here for almost half my tenure here. Jim's knowledge, his passion, his dedication, but most of all his demeanor, made me a better coach and a better human being. Thanks, Jim. Today doesn't happen without you, because I surely would have lost my mind on more than one occasion. There's another Jim I must thank, although not officially a part of our staff. Thank you, Jim Curley, for accompanying me and keeping me awake on all of those late-night recruiting trips. During my 27 years at Westchester, I encountered the best colleagues, not only in the athletic department, but throughout the university and throughout the PSAC. So many fellow coaches, faculty and staff members with whom I collaborated to make my tenure at Westchester so enjoyable. The love is real, and I am most sure that they all know it. And there's too many wonderful people and too many years to mention them all. But I would be remiss if I did not mention and thank Dick Yoder, who hired me, Sue Lupkin, Kate Poley, and Paul Oliero, who were advocates for gender equity after my arrival, Ed Matakovic, who provided much needed stability to our department, also Terry Beatty, who provided the much needed humanity to our department. And I surely would not have lasted 27 years without Mel Josephs and Matt Burketto looking out for me. Thank all of you. The alumni at Westchester also welcomed me with open arms, even though I wasn't one of them. And it was a rarity. Most of the coaches here were Westchester grads when I got here. But Mr. WCU himself, Joe Kinley, this year's recipient of the Most Distinguished Alumni Award, was a huge source of support for me. Thanks so much, Joe. There are members of the community, though no longer with us, whom I must acknowledge too. Mr. and Mrs. Kelly of Kelly Sports, Bill Van Zandt and Ted McHugh, thank you for your generosity, your kindness, and the countless hours that all of you devoted to WCU athletics through my time here. I will never forget you, and those that remain at Westchester will never forget the impact you had. Players, student assistants, graduate assistants, I need drinking water, sorry. Thanks, Seth. Players, student assistants, graduate assistants, and student managers, the real reason we coach. With 38 years in coaching at 6 different institutions, I cannot begin to mention you by name, but I hope I can convey my feelings for you. When our son Sean was born, my mother Cass Kane was there with me. I was my mother's 6th and last child. And so naturally, as a baby, I always believed I was her favorite. I looked up from Sean because I was in awe just staring at him. And I said, Mom, right now I can't imagine loving anyone in the world more than I love this baby. How did you do it? How did you love all 6 of us and make each and every one of us think that we were your favorite? And this wise woman with only a 6th grade education looked at me and said, because when you have another child, your love isn't divided, it is multiplied. Tim and I only had one child, so I couldn't test her theory at home. But I truly believe I proved her theory in coaching. In 1976, at Gloucester Catholic, I couldn't imagine loving a group of players more. But I felt the same way at Camden Catholic, at Salisbury State, at Swarthmore College, and at the University of Pennsylvania, and every single year here at Westchester up until the year I retired. I hope that I was as successful as my mother in making all of you feel as though you were my favorites. And of course, Dick Delaney. You go after me, so I'm nice. We shared an office, we shared facilities, and many, many long bus rides. We fought for our programs together, and we fought with each other. It was a true marriage. I learned so much from Dick. I stole many X's and O's. Frankie on the box. I enjoyed his philosophies of coaching and of life. And now that Dick has 3 beautiful granddaughters, I believe Dick fully understands, and I'm going to use his own words, if I have a ham sandwich, you have to have one too? And I always reply, why yes, Dick, I do. Dick, thanks for 21 great years. Just think, our names will live on together in perpetuity. I do love you, buddy. No coach has longevity without the support and love of those at home. Our son Sean bought into his mom being a coach right from the start, despite those long van rides in his car seat during the first 4 years of his life in Salisbury. It didn't take long before Tim and I realized Sean was more sports obsessed than either one of us. Sean is a proud Westchester graduate. He went on to Syracuse to further his education. He's also a genuinely kind person who is a fabulous husband and father. Sports is now his livelihood. He also made an exceptional #1 draft pick in choosing Amy for good.
Yeah.
Together, they provided us with 2 pretty awesome grandsons, and they all make my retirement even more exciting, more eventful, and more joyful than my career. With the addition of Amy, Shawn Michael, and Baker Timothy, I learned love can not only be multiplied, it can grow exponentially as well. And when we met, Tim Kane thought I was going to be a veterinarian. He envisioned a bucolic, country gentleman's lifestyle. But he embraced the hectic, wife not here for dinner ever lifestyle of a coach's spouse from the start. Tim married into my crazy South Philly family and remains the calm to my crazy. When his career moved us to Maryland, it was Tim who encouraged this homesick, postpartum mess of a mother of a 1-month-old to walk over to Salisbury State and see if they needed a volunteer. I was hired as an assistant coach that day. And so it began. Tim facilitated the jump from high school to college coaching. The timing was perfect. Women's basketball took flight, and it is still soaring. Tim was a fan in the stands when there were very few fans there. He made road trips whenever possible, and he surely was the alpha parent who did an outstanding job raising our son Sean. Tim, thank you for loving me. You surely are the best thing that ever happened to me. Shawn Michael and Baker Timothy. Go Baker. Shawn Michael and Baker Timothy. Someday, when I am nothing but a memory, I hope you wander over to Hollinger Field House and say, that's my mama.